necessarily think about when they're in a room. This is a very interesting forum here, or situation, isn't it? Because we walk into this room, we meet the people, we may have had a rough morning, we may have just fought traffic, we may have had a child go off on us this morning, whatever the situation might have been before you got here, you might be carrying some of that as you come into the room. Facial expression, body language, sighing a lot, those kinds of things. And we don't think about the fact that people are already watching us when we come into this room, when we're all together in this room. So part of the message that we're going to get to a bit later is this idea of becoming more aware of what you're doing with your body, with your face, with those things that we can control, but often what we're doing is unconscious. We're simply not aware that we might be frowning, or we might look worried, or we might seem distant in a room. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about. It truly is a nanosecond kind of thing that people form these impressions. And of course, there's this famous adage that we don't have a second chance. I don't know that that's necessarily true. Well, we don't have a second chance to form that first impression. Why is that first impression so critical? What does it do for us?
Well, if it's bad, people don't necessarily want to talk to you.
Exactly. If they are put off by something in our demeanor or our behavior, they might not approach us. They might say, ooh, that person doesn't look so friendly, or that person looks like they're having a bad day, maybe I'll give them some space, kind of thing. Right, absolutely. One of the things it does, and I think I have this question next. Right. So that's one thing, and it can save us basically time and energy. What do we have to do if our initial impression hasn't been so positive? We have to overcome it somehow. We have to try to undo that. And I'll just tell a brief story. I learned that about a lot of this in Italy. I lived in Italy. A lot of you know that I lived in Italy for many years. Italians are very, very keyed into body language because they use it. It's so much part of their communication skill that a lot of what they understand about a person is nothing that the person says. It's just what the person is doing with their body. And when I first moved there, one of the aspects of Italian culture is that everything changes. Nothing's ever what you expect. So I would have these training engagements, and they would have told me there'd be 15 people there, for example. And I'd arrive in the morning with my materials, all my handouts, all this stuff, and they'd say, oh, only 5 people showed up. So what did I do? Yeah, it was the immediate irritation on my face, body language, and I had immediately insulted the person in front of me. And it took me a long time to understand why that person all of a sudden became passive-aggressive on me. And it usually was somebody who had no influence over how many people showed up. It was like the secretary or the admin or whoever was greeting me. But I had just blamed that person for the situation. And then I had to go through the thing of trying to make up with that person and get them back on my side because I needed their help throughout the day. So that's just an example of how this, just a small little thing that we do with our body or our face can create a negative impression. So by making that good first impression, it actually saves us time and energy. We don't have to redo. We don't have to then build a better impression with this person and overcome what we've done. The second thing I'm going to share with you is a quote I came across. I don't even remember where I read this. But I liked this sentiment. For those, I don't know if everybody can see it back there. The random people you meet may play an enormous role in your life later on. And I'm sure those of you in this group and those of you who are members of Inforum have had that experience. Somebody that you've met here was a stranger, has either become a very good friend, has become someone who's helped you find your next job or a good opportunity. So that's the other reason why making that good first impression is something you really want to be doing, because we simply never know. We never know who we're going to meet. We never know who's in our audience. And so paying attention to our body language and our nonverbal behavior is just a good thing to always be doing. Now I'm going to basically go through a few of the things that I notice, because I am a noticer. In my years of teaching presentation skills in particular, I've just become very aware of, well, I observe people. And one of the things that people say about me is that I see things other people don't see. So I'm very very, very picky. If I'm ever in your audience, you know that I'm taking notes. It's just that this stuff jumps out at me. So it's kind of a weird habit that I have, or a weird talent that I have. But we're going to talk about, I've divided this into body and content. So we're simply going to go through what the what-nots to do, and then we'll go through some to-dos. But I'll just ask you quickly, what are some things that you notice when you're watching people in front of a room or introduce themselves that you think, that doesn't really give a powerful impression? Yeah.
Eye contact.
Absolutely. What about eye contact is the not to do?
When I'm shaking your hand, do not look away.
Right.
Look me in the face.
There we go. So looking away, or looking up and down and around. Any kind of invasive eye contact would be on our no list for sure. What else? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
When people have their arms crossed when they're talking to you.
Oh yes, cross arms. My partner always crosses his arms, even in the house. He walks around, he's walking around like this. I'm like, will you stop? It drives me crazy. It's just comfortable. It's just comfortable. I'm like, it's closed. It's a closed posture. It's defensive, right? Brenda?
I'm going to show it by example when we do introductions like this, and you can't really hear my voice. Anybody that knows me knows that's not how I do not do introductions, but that's like...
I was going to say, I didn't hear you. I've never not heard you.
That was a big stretch for her, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a stretch, absolutely. Yes, Stella?
Limp hands. Oh, that was a little one. Limp hands.
Yeah, limp hands. Hands are so critical. Limp is a bad one. What can anybody else know?
At times, if somebody has a pen in their hand, they're just, playing with the pen. That's
Clicking the pen, that's generally not good. Yeah. This is, yes.
I have a friend who's a physician, and she's constantly playing with her hair when she's talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she got far in life.
And how did she do that? Right. But yes, playing with hair or touching any other part of your body. You do want to try to avoid, scratching, anything, right? You just try to keep those hands away from the body for sure. But one that I see frequently, and I have to say, I just see this more from women than I see it from men. I call this the church woman's pose. It's the class. Or even sometimes you'll see people kind of almost wringing their hands. It's a very nervous, unconscious gesture. People don't even realize they're doing it. It just happened in a class that I was teaching earlier in the week. So we need to pay attention to what we're doing with our hands. Sometimes holding something that's not a clickable pen will relax you. For some people, holding something is almost a Linus blanket kind of thing. You just feel a little more secure if you have something to hold on to, and it can keep you from this or the nervous hand gesture. Our goal in presenting with our hands is that we want to try to make them work for us. We want to try to have them support our verbal message. In a brief introduction, we might not have so much to say with our hands, but we do want to watch that they're not either just limp or clasped. I think those are the kind of the most negative ones. I'm going to put class up here. What else? Other things that come to your mind?
Posture. Slouching.
Right. Any kind of slouch. There's another postural thing. You have one back here.
No, well, it's not so much body. I can't see what that second word is, but I was thinking about gadgets.
Having your phone in your hand, or which Brenda always does, but
Unless you're recording somebody,
I am.
playing with a gadget. I know this is somewhat generational. I've noticed some younger people will, when they have to present, they'll hold their phone to kind of look at their notes. Because people don't know what you're looking at, or you could be watching a YouTube video when you're introducing yourself. So I would say phones are not a great thing to have in your hand, or playing with some kind of distracting gadget for sure. Yeah.
Well, I was going to remark about facial expression.
Yes.
You want to smile and you don't want to frown or grimace.
Exactly. Frown, looking too serious.
Right.
Worried maybe is a look we can put down there as not such a positive one. Absolutely. You have one? you actually had to go take the call.
Yeah.
But it interrupted our conversation. It definitely can be an interrupter. Yes.
One thing with eye contact is, I think women, as women, we do multitask, and I've been called out. People can tell, even though I'm giving them direct eye contact, that my mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
So you have to be present in the moment too. There's some people who are really good reading you. And
Yes.
remind yourself to be present.
Exactly. 'Cause we can tell when people drift. Yeah, we know it. We can know it even if we're on the phone with people. We can usually tell if somebody's doing something else. I do that to my mom all the time. She's perfect. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. And yes,
I think this is posture related. You don't want to be like moving back and forth. You want to be firmly planted.
exactly. So we can say rocking or moving on our not so positive list. These are things absolutely. And when we get to the positive list, I'll be preaching my posture rules. But definitely that's also a distraction. And if you're introducing yourself in this